This podcast is based on an interview with Nancy Harhut, the author of Using Behavioral Science in Marketing, Drive Customer Action and Loyalty by Prompting Instinctive Responses. Today, we're diving into some fascinating insights from her book that can help small business owners and solo entrepreneurs drive customer action and loyalty by leveraging behavioral science. First, let's talk about the concept of autonomy bias, which Nancy describes as the innate human desire to feel in control. When customers perceive that they have a choice, they are more likely to take action. This is a powerful principle that can be used in marketing strategies. For example, if you're sending out an email newsletter or a promotional offer, frame your message in a way that emphasizes the urgency of making a decision. You might say something like, "Act now, or someone else will take your spot." This not only compels them to act, but also reinforces their sense of control over the decision they are making. Nancy shared a great example from her own experience. She mentioned a blog title she created that resonated with her audience. "You're facing an important decision. If you don't act quickly, someone else will decide for you." This title played on autonomy bias and sparked significant discussion among her readers. For small business owners, crafting headlines that evoke a sense of urgency and control can significantly increase engagement. Next, let's explore the power of social proof. This is the idea that people will follow the actions of others when making decisions. Nancy provided a compelling story about her experience in Barcelona, where she was deciding between two restaurants. The concierge recommended one restaurant, but she chose another based on the bustling line out the door. This illustrates how social proof can influence decisions. As a small business owner, you can apply this principle by showcasing testimonials and reviews from satisfied customers. When potential clients see that others are already enjoying your products or services, they may feel more inclined to join them. For instance, consider adding a section on your website for customer testimonials, or displaying social media posts that highlight positive customer experiences. Now, let's dive into the principle of reciprocity. This principle suggests that when someone does something for us, we feel compelled to return the favor. Nancy described how, after receiving a restaurant recommendation from a concierge in Barcelona, she felt an urge to reciprocate by visiting that restaurant later. As a small business, you can leverage reciprocity by offering something of value up front. This could be a free trial, a downloadable resource, or even just helpful content that addresses your audience's pain points. By providing value before asking for something in return, you create a sense of obligation that can lead to increased conversions. Another technique Nancy discussed is framing. This involves presenting information in a way that influences perception. For example, instead of saying, "We have a 95% satisfaction rate," you could say, "Only 5% of our customers were not satisfied." The latter framing emphasizes the positive outcome and can lead to a more favorable perception. In your marketing materials, think about how you can frame your messages to highlight the benefits of your offerings. For example, if you're launching a new product, you could emphasize how it improves a common problem rather than just listing its features. This approach makes your messaging more relatable and compelling. Nancy also shared practical tips for applying these behavioral science principles. One actionable step is to incorporate storytelling into your marketing. People are naturally drawn to stories, and they help create emotional connections with your audience. Consider sharing a story about how your business was founded, a challenge you overcame, or a customer success story. This not only humanizes your brand, but also illustrates the value of your offerings in a relatable way. As we wrap up this first half of our discussion, I encourage you to reflect on these behavioral science principles and how they can be integrated into your marketing strategies. Whether you're crafting a social media post, writing an email, or designing your website, thinking about autonomy, social proof, reciprocity, and framing can enhance your impact. In our next segment, we'll dive deeper into more techniques from Nancy's book and explore how you can implement them effectively in your small business. Stay tuned for actionable insights that will help you drive customer action and loyalty. As we continue our conversation about behavioral science and marketing, Nancy shared some intriguing case studies that exemplify how these principles can be effectively applied in real-world scenarios. One powerful example she recounted involved a marketing campaign for a satellite TV service. The challenge was that many customers were hesitant to change their existing service, feeling satisfied with the status quo. To tackle this inertia, the team decided to leverage autonomy bias. They presented potential customers with the ability to customize their channel packages. By framing it as a choice, they emphasized how customers could select only the channels they wanted, without paying for what they didn't need. This approach not only appealed to customers' desire for control, but also made it clear that they wouldn't be stuck with unwanted channels. The result? A significant increase in response rates. demonstrating the effectiveness of applying behavioral insights to overcome customer reluctance. Now, let's talk about the concept of the asterisk by AF technique, an acronym for Be It Your Choice. This technique emphasizes the idea that when customers are reminded they have control over their decisions, they are more likely to engage. For example, instead of simply asking someone if they want to buy a product, marketers can present two options, such as, would you like to schedule a consultation next Tuesday or next Thursday? This subtle shift helps customers feel empowered, increasing the likelihood that they will follow through with the decision to engage with your business. Nancy also touched on the asterisk Zeigarnik effect, which unveils how people tend to remember unfinished tasks more than completed ones. This insight can be a game changer for small business owners. You can use this principle by sending reminders to customers who have left items in their shopping carts. A simple email saying, "Hey, you left something behind. Come back to complete your order," plays on their desire for closure. It nudges them to finish what they started, ultimately leading to increased conversion rates. Moreover, loyalty programs are great practical applications of the Zeigarnik effect. By providing customers with punch cards that track their purchases, you can motivate them to complete their rewards. Research has shown that giving customers a card with one box already checked significantly increases their likelihood of completing the remaining boxes. This taps into the psychological urge to finish what they've started, encouraging repeat business. As we look at another behavioral principle, let's discuss asterisk status quo bias asterisk. It's important for marketers to recognize that customers often prefer the familiar over the unknown. To overcome this bias, businesses can highlight the risks of inaction. For example, if you're introducing a new product, emphasize how competitors are already benefiting from it. This creates a sense of urgency and a fear of missing out. You can frame your messaging around how many others are making the switch, which can motivate customers to follow suit. Nancy also shared a fascinating insight about how offering reasons for a change can help customers feel more comfortable stepping out of their routines. When you explain why your product or service is superior, it can break down the barriers created by status quo bias. For instance, if you're trying to convince someone to switch to your software, rather than just stating its features, explain how it can save them time, reduce costs, or improve efficiency. This approach helps customers rationalize their decision to switch. As we wrap up our discussion today, I encourage you to take these behavioral science insights and think about how you can incorporate them into your marketing efforts. Whether it's through creating a sense of urgency with autonomy bias, using the Zeigarnik effect in your follow-up strategies, or overcoming status quo bias with compelling reasons for change, these techniques can help you connect with your audience on a deeper level. Remember, the goal is to create marketing messages that resonate emotionally and drive action. Try experimenting with these principles in your next campaign and observe how your audience responds. It might just lead to increased engagement and conversions. Thank you for joining me today as we explored the fascinating world of behavioral science in marketing. A big thank you to Nancy Harhut for sharing her insights and expertise with us. If you want to dive deeper into these topics, I highly recommend grabbing a copy of her book, Using Behavioral Science in Marketing. You can find it on platforms like Amazon or directly from Kogan Page. If you found today's episode valuable, please share it with fellow entrepreneurs and small business owners who could benefit from applying these insights. And be sure to subscribe for more actionable strategies that can help you succeed in your business journey. Until next time, keep experimenting, keep learning, and keep growing. Thank you for listening.